What is going on YouTube, and welcome back to another video. In today's video, I want to talk about dating in America as an Indian man. Really, for any minority, right, in America, it's gonna be tough. It's gonna be tough. So when I'm talking about an Indian man in America, right, I'm talking about basically anybody from South Asia. So Pakistan, Bangladesh, obviously India, Bhutan, Sri Lanka, just South Asian countries, right? You know, not to take away anything from other minorities, but Indians definitely have it very, very difficult. You look at media too, right? In most like TV shows, right? Who's usually the nerdy guy? A lot of times it's an Indian guy, right? For instance, a show like The Big Bang Theory, right? Who's like kind of the biggest loser on that show who doesn't get like too many women or doesn't get any women at all? It's Raj, and he's obviously the Indian guy. A lot of times in media, the Indian guy is portrayed as kind of like the nerd or like the loser, right? I will say this, man, as an Indian guy, right? If you're an Indian American guy, you have it a lot better compared to a guy who was more so just born and raised and lived in these South Asian countries for a while and who recently came to America within the past couple years, right? Because as an Indian American guy, you don't have the accent. You're used to American culture, right? You're used to like the fashion trends, because at the end of the day, you're still, you know, an Indian American guy. You were born and raised here, right? You can pick up very easily. You speak English very fluently. Now, the guys that have it the hardest, right, are gonna be the guys who were really born and raised in those South Asian countries who recently moved to America for, you know, maybe a job, maybe doing like their college and high school in America, right? Those are the guys that are gonna have it a lot tougher. And what I recommend for those guys is definitely taking classes to improve your speech, pronunciating, slowing down your speech, pronunciating your words more clearly. There's a lot of classes out there. There's a lot of speech classes out there. For you guys, you know, who are a little older, who've come here, right? Who've lived in like India or Pakistan for a while, and then you've come here recently, definitely look into taking classes that can help work on the accent. Again, I think the accent is a little overrated. At the end of the day, you know, you are where you're from, man. You are where you're from. Embrace it, right? You're never going to be able to completely get rid of your accent because that's where you're originally from. That's your roots. But at the same time, you know, you can take classes to minimize it to a certain extent. And at the same time, focus more on pronunciating words a lot better. There's a lot of different things you can do to really enhance your speech, right? The second thing is work on kind of studying like American culture a little bit, because the culture is very different. Jose from Teaching Men's Fashion, his channel has a lot of stuff on fashion, right? So really you can pick up how to kind of enhance your wardrobe a little bit. Just little things like that, man, to just blend in more so towards American culture can really go a long way. Because at the end of the day, you know, you're very new, right, to America, and it's gonna be tough, right? A lot of American girls, you know, they're not gonna prefer you right off the bat, right? You really have to kind of work for it. It's not easy. I think for Indian guys, it's very good to meet people in person, right? Rather than spend so much time on the apps. Dating apps, you know, a lot of people have really flawed like expectations on there, right? I don't think girls even know like how tall is tall. A lot of girls just have that magical number of 6 foot implanted in their head for whatever reason. They're like very clueless, and yet, you know, you could ask a 5'5" girl out and you're like 5'10" and they would have no idea how tall you actually are. So definitely I would say, you know, as an Indian man, right, if you're like under like, I don't know, like if you're under like 5'10", if you're under like 5'9", right, which a lot of Indian guys are, definitely try and stay away from the dating apps and focus more so meeting women, meeting girls through just events like in real life, right? Taking classes, meeting girls through, salsa classes, fitness classes, cooking classes, intramural sports, co-ed intramural sports, right? Meeting people through real life events. That's always going to be the best way, I think, for a lot of Indian guys, because you could really show off that unique personality. But the same principles of dating are always going to apply, man, regardless of your race, right? Be able to carry out a conversation with a woman, live an interesting lifestyle, and connect emotionally. Be aware that you might have to lower your standards a little bit. I'm not saying you should just toss out and just flock to whoever's there. Everybody should have standards, but at the same time, if you're expecting to, I'm not going to sugarcoat it. Like, if you're expecting to date a beautiful 9 out of 10 or 10 out of 10 white girl, and you just come here from India, like, very recently, right? You can't speak very great English. You can't pronunciate your words very well. You don't have the best fashion sense, right? It's going to be obviously very difficult. The girl probably is not going to be super interested right off the bat. That's why, it's good to lower your expectations a little bit until you've really kind of immersed into American culture and have lived in this country for a little bit, lived in this country for at least a couple years. And this is for people, who've kind of grown up in, India or Pakistan or Bangladesh and have come to America recently. Learn about your SMV a little bit. Work on all those aspects to better your life. And at the same time, see what type of girls you're attracting. Explore, see what type of girls you like, right? I don't know what it is, man, but a lot of Indian guys, they just always flock to white girls. They just really want white girls for some reason. And it's funny because in India and Pakistan and just a lot of people in like the Bollywood industry, they hire, Indian people, South Asian people with fairer skin as opposed to people with darker skin. There's a lot of products out there in India especially that make your skin like more fair, right? If you look at Bollywood, majority of the actors are people with fairer skin. So definitely, even like India, right? It's becoming a lot more westernized. So, but yeah, man, I don't know why, but a lot of Indian guys, they always like go for white girls. The real big thing that a lot of Indian men need to realize is they need to realize what they truly want. Because I've seen my Indian friends, even Indian family members, who have isolated and cut off ties with other people in the family because they ended up settling down with women who weren't in the same culture or the preferred culture that the rest of their family wanted. And I know it's very messed up to say. And that's kind of the sad reality of being an Indian guy in America is a lot of families aren't as open arms for the Indian man or the Indian daughter to get married to somebody outside of their religion or culture, right? And it's very sad to say, but a lot of families are really like that. For me, I was very lucky because I'm from a family that isn't as strict on all of those stuff. And even in my family, right, they prefer me to marry, Indian, Bengali, like Muslim girl, but they're not gonna, cut me off if I end up settling down with like, a Christian girl, right? Or a girl that's like outside of, my race. They're not gonna like X me out because of it. But at the same time, most Indian families, the reality is they prefer like their son or daughter to end up with somebody that's within their culture and religion, right? That's just how, most Indian families are. And that's why it makes dating so difficult as an Indian guy in America. I haven't met too many girls that have said like Indian guys are like my type, right? Indian guys, I'm so into Indian guys. A lot of girls in other races, Indian guys aren't, especially, the girls living in America, they prefer, a lot of other races as opposed to Indian guys, right? So you have the whole issue with like ethnic tax and demographics, the way media portrays you, and then the pressure that you get from, your family, right? To get married as soon as possible. And not only that, get married to somebody within your culture. Thing is, man, though, us Indian guys and us Asian guys, the work ethic, right? The work ethic and the ability to work hard to achieve your goals, that was always there. That's always just something that 99% of Indian and Asian guys have, is that work ethic. And if you're an Indian guy in America, man, never let go of that work ethic, right? If you want something, go get it, right? Don't let what other people say, don't let stereotypes stop you from achieving great things in life. And that includes dating life. If you really want to get that beautiful girl, right? If you're really into like even girls outside of your race, right? You know, white girls, black girls, whatever, you know, go for it, man. Like, go for it. Don't let, you know, other people tell you like you can't get with those girls, right? Don't listen to all this crap on the internet that the black pill has against, you know, like Indian guys, how they have the lowest SMV or the least desirable. Work for it. Use that work ethic that you had like in school, right? I know a lot of you like Indian guys are probably like engineers, doctors, very smart, right? Backgrounds. You know, you can figure it out, right? Use that hard-working work ethic and apply it to your dating life, man. Don't give up on your dating life. Don't just sit there swiping on the apps all day, you know. Meet people in real life. Enroll in classes. Go out to events, right? Always be on your A game when you're going on these dates. You know, dressing the best. Always have your fitness on check, right? Your style, grooming, all of that. I'm an Indian guy. I've gone on plenty of dates with plenty of girls outside of my race. The past couple girlfriends I had were actually white. You know, it's definitely doable. At the end of the day, yeah, you might not be the most attractive person out there. At the end of the day, people from other races may prefer, you know, other ethnicities, other races, right? Indian guys aren't going to be the most desirable race in America. That's just the way it is. But you can always do all those things to looks max. But you also have to have that like fun lifestyle, that emotional connection, right? Work on bettering your life, right? Work on bettering your lifestyle. Live a life that girls, you know, find interesting, right? Be able to connect with women. And really, man, that's just the reality of dating as an Indian guy. You're always gonna have it a little bit harder, but don't let that stop you from, you know, achieving great things in this life, man. When it comes to family values versus the type of woman you want, right? You ultimately have to make that decision, right? Are you going to preserve like the family values and continue on, you know, to date like Indian girls? Or, you know, are you just going to branch out, right? At the end of the day, you know, I don't think you should be cutting your family off. But at the same time, everybody has a type. As an Indian guy, it's really up to you to decide what you really want. Anyways, guys, that is it for today's video. If you're new to the channel, again, hit the like button, comment, subscribe. Let me know your thoughts below, and I will catch you all in the next video. Peace out, man.